Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to speak out of order for 1 minute.
Without objection.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. At this point in time, I'd yield to my friend, the Republican whip, for the purposes of an inquiry as to the balance of the day.
Thank the gentleman from Maryland for yielding. And, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to request if the gentleman could let us know what the schedule is expected to be for the remainder of today. Obviously, the reports are that there may be a CBO score today. Would also want to ask the gentleman, would it be anticipated that there would first be a CBO score before any final passage of legislation? And with that, would yield to the gentleman from Maryland.
I thank the gentleman for his question, and let me read through this and so I reach every point that I think each member needs to know. Following the next vote, the House will stand in recess subject to the call of the chair. As all the members know, we are waiting for some technical pursuits of the budget and reconciliation process to be completed. The House has completed, as I think all of you know, 1 hour and 40 minutes of the 2 hours of debate on the Build Back Better Act. So there will remain 10 minutes on each side when we pass, prior to the passage of the Build Back Better Act. We're waiting, as the gentleman indicated, the completion of a privilege scrub from the Senate parliamentarians necessary for the reconciliation process. And once we've received that information, the Rules Committee and Mr. McGovern will meet to report a rule with an additional manager's amendment to make technical corrections to the bill, which will be considered on the floor, so that the parliamentarians' concerns will be met in that technical amendment. We are also awaiting the final 2 committee estimates from CBO. We expect CBO to have estimates, and I want to make it clear that this may not be the CBO score of the overall piece of legislation. But at this point in time, we've just heard from those who are going to be reading that through the night, I know. We're also waiting for the final 2 committee estimates, as I said. I want to thank the Senate parliamentarian who's been working round the clock. Her office has been working round the clock to get us to where I think we are now. And I want to also thank CBO, who have been working extraordinarily hard. This is a large piece of legislation, which I guess is an understatement, and it is also complex. Now, having said that, obviously CBO has been working for months, literally August and September and October and November on this legislation. But we want to appreciate the hard work of the parliamentarian and the director of CBO and their staffs. We are working towards completing Building Back Better Act today. And more information on the schedule will be provided as soon as it becomes available.
If I could ask,
let me add, if I can, Mr. Whip. It is my hope that we will complete this legislation today, so that this would be the last legislative day prior to the Thanksgiving work period. We will, however, I want to make sure everybody understands, complete Build Back Better before we go home. I'm hopeful and believe that I think most members are hopeful that we can do that tonight, whether you're for or against it, that we can do it tonight. And that is my effort to achieve that objective. I know it's the Speaker's effort as well. I'll yield back to my friend, the Whip.
Thank the gentleman. So regarding the CBO score, right now we're probably at about 1/3 of the bill being scored. Would it be expected that it wouldn't come up until the full 100% would be scored, or something less than that? And then the other question would be, if Rules Committee is going to meet again to come out with an additional rule based on the Senate scrub, would there be additional debate on the bill added as part of that rule? Would it just be a debate on the rule, then straight into the final
There would be
passage?
debate on the rule, and then the 20 minutes of remaining date on the debate on the bill itself, 10 minutes on your side and 10 minutes on our side. I want to say we do expect to have a full table of the score. We just don't, those of you who have pored over CBO scores, you know there's a number of pages, sometimes shorter, 15, can be longer than that prose explanation of the score. What we will have is the score itself, as I understand it, a summary table of the score. We may not have the prose by that time. I want to make it clear to you that that is not necessary for us to pass it. It is necessary, and that will be in place before it goes to the Senate under the reconciliation rules.
So for the three remaining committees, we have Ways and Means, Energy and Commerce, and Judiciary that still haven't been scored from, so the third would be, would all of those be at least in a table? The remaining committees that have not been scored, would they be part of a breakdown table at a minimum, whether or not it's a more detailed version as well?
The Energy and Commerce has been done.
All right.
So we do have that.
So Ways and Means.
But the other two will be in the table.
And
Correct.
Judiciary would also be
Yes.
in a table before
Yes.
something came?
That's my understanding.
Yield back.
I yield back.